Thanks for joining. I'm doing a talk today on the future of pay-per-call. Hoping that I can give you guys 2, 3, 4 things that you guys can walk with immediately and start implementing pay-per-call into your current campaigns. Pay-per-call, the way that we're seeing it in the future here, is it really ought to be a part of all of it. It should be the compilation of leads, clicks, and calls should all be built in. So hopefully part of this too, you'll be able to get a little bit, if you haven't heard of pay-per-call or seen it in action, get a little bit of an overview about what it is and how it's working today. And then I'll show you a little bit of new technology that we're implementing that is helping us improve conversions, which is a big part of pay-per-call, obviously, and conversions are a nice thing. So why is this important? I'm going to flip through these slides pretty quickly and we'll get to some Q&A. So give you a little background, it makes you more money. So if you got a website right now, e-commerce, our network's pretty heavy in the insurance industry, but generating leads, you got an e-commerce site on it, you throw a phone number on there, you're going to make more money. A lot of studies out there showing the advantages of having a phone number on your website. So it's good you're here listening about pay-per-call because it's an opportunity to make more money. Who am I? Just to give you a little background real quickly, I started the insurance side of the business. I worked the leads. I developed a big program for a major company. We sold and sold and sold, and I found out that I could start generating my own leads, so I became an affiliate marketer. So I started selling the leads to myself and then selling the overflow to other networks. Then I was really big into technology too, developed a few apps for some insurance carriers, and then started to build my own call distribution system, which is called Ring Router. It's our parent company. Our pay-per-call market is our affiliate network that we run under, if you've heard of us. But we started technology, had a background from buying leads as an agent, selling leads to networks as an affiliate, and then ultimately a tech provider for a couple of networks, and then I built my own. So that's a little bit about me in the background. Talk a little bit about pay-per-call, what they are today. Right now we've got really 2 different types. We've got transfers and we've got inbounds. We consider that there's 2 types of transfers, warm and cold. Warm would be somebody on the phone getting somebody warmed up, and then they go ahead and call over to the buyer and say, hey, I got this person on the phone. They're interested in buying your product. Let me transfer them over now. Cold transfer is a little different. Cold transfer would be warming them up. We also call this a hot transfer too because these leads coming into these buyers are hot. But we use cold because what they end up doing is they warm them up and then they say, hold on 1 second, and they forward it over into a call distribution system. There's a few verification questions that are automated generally. They answer them like, press 1 if you're looking for a quote, enter your zip code, and then also, if you're insured, they answer those questions, and then our system finds a buyer for them and routes them through. So a little different from just a straight warm transfer where you're hand holding it and dropping the call over. Where there's a lot of new business is inside of this inbound. So at the very bottom, you say add a phone number to a lead capture site. So right now, we see the benefits of pay-per-call as this additional stream of revenue, of monetization. And we see that there's a lot of sites that are missing out on this opportunity just by adding a simple phone number. A lot of it comes down to technology as a part of it, and I'll get to it. But really, it's as simple as adding a phone number right now with a lot of programs. But the other way that these inbounds are coming in is in mobile. I'm going to talk a lot about how mobile is really kind of leading the way with all this. TV, radio is really big, so you probably see all the infomercials, run the commercials, 1-800-THIS, and they call in. And then obviously search and display on mobile and desktop is also a play here. Like I said, I was going to show you. If you can kind of see this, it's the line going up at a much higher pace is the amount of people that are searching on their mobile phones versus on the desktop. The Generation Zs are all about this, the millennials. So you can kind of see Google's kind of backed this up year over year, had huge growth here, and this is probably all old news to you guys. So bear with me on some of this just in case this is new to you. This is a slide that my marketing guy threw on here. I really don't know what this is, but it's supposed to tell us that it's going to mobile. I was looking through them, and we couldn't remember what all these different things were, but I kind of had an idea about it. But anyways, it's a fun-looking picture, so I left it on there. There's a ton of stuff, a ton of data out there, industry stats about how everything's just going to a mobile and going to phone calls. People like to, the connection likes to be people like to be connected now, get right over to a buyer and buy something. So it makes a lot of sense the direction this is going and why people are wanting to buy calls. For the lead buyers, and this is what we see on a daily basis, it's when I was buying leads, I had to buy 10 leads to get a hold of 2 people to get 1 quote. And then on top of that, I had to make 300 to 400 phone calls a day to get out about 10, 15 quotes, just with the reoccurring follow-ups and things like that. So the pay-per calls are really for the buyer lobbing off that top part of the sales funnel, which says, you don't have to make those 400 phone calls every day. Just pick up the phone when a consumer's calling in and give them a quote, or sell them the whatever product that you're offering. For the affiliate side of it, it's a great additional stream of revenue. It's a high, usually 2 or 3 times the payout, sometimes more of what you would get on a lead form or a click. So, like I said at the beginning, it's as simple really as adding a phone number and then just managing the account. But a lot of times what we'll see too is that when you do add a phone number onto your site, you'll get a lot more leads and clicks because the consumer feels it's more legitimate because there's a phone number on there. Just a perception thing, but the studies that we've gotten back and from BIA Kelsey and a lot of these other big statistician companies, they come back and say, hey, look, you're going to get more leads and more clicks, and on top of it, you're going to get phone calls. So if you don't leave with anything today, it's just add a phone number to your website. And click to call with Google is if you've been in the space, you've seen the transition. They started off with WAP, which meant that you could go to these non-smartphones. You didn't need a website. You just needed to promote a product, and you just needed a phone number. People made a lot of money there. Google said you can't do that only exclusively to WAP anymore, so you need to do it to everything, desktop, mobile, and WAP, and you can kind of mess around with your bidding so that you get more of the WAP or more of the mobile, but you just got to mix in the desktop. They've now added it, or they've now changed once again, and now you can do specifically calls. You'll still need a website, but they're going to this click to call button so you can make a call right off of the search. And what we're seeing is that majority, if not 85% of our calls from our affiliates, they are coming off of that click to call button. There, very few are passing through into the site and having an action. So this is definitely where it's leading to. And there's still a lot of opportunity there for you to jump in and learn Google AdWords and figure out a way to optimize some inefficiencies there because it's the new space for Google. Kind of some walkaways. If I was an affiliate trying to get into pay-per-call, from looking up for pay-per-call networks, I'd probably hit OfferVault first. You can look there. We're a pay-per-call network. We're specialized in insurance. I would definitely try to find networks that are also specialized in your product. The reason being is that there's so many nuances right now about how this industry is changing and there's no standards that I would really try to focus in on finding a network that also is already doing this and learning and going through the learning curve of how do you make pay-per-call work more efficiently. Kind of give an example there is, we've been working in the insurance space, and a part of what pay-per-call is that you get paid off of a call, but that call that then lasts 90 or 120 seconds. And we're implementing new ideas there with the insurance side because we sell now directly to agents. And we've created our technology to be able to, once they pass through our verification process, we can charge them immediately unless it's a bad or fraudulent call. And we can do the same now with our downstream affiliates. We can go ahead and say, hey, we're going to pay you for every connected phone call, assuming that they're all good calls. And if not, we'll give you a credit back. But the reason why I bring that up is that's specific to the insurance side. That may not make sense in other verticals, and that's why right now it's a great idea just to stick in with a network that is in the product that you're working on, and because they're going to probably be going through some things. This is a new space for a lot of people, and there are a lot of new learning curves and new technologies coming out. There's a lot of ad networks that are out there that you can get into. Same through like an OfferVault. Mobile call tracking, like I said, there's Invoca that's out there, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen them. It's a great platform, is a one-to-one. You want to start running some offers, you sign up with them, you get access to quite a bit of offers right off the bat, and you have a platform to start distributing calls if you do create your own relationships and your own buyers. There's also quite a few other ones. Leadspedia, what we did was we basically built our own distribution system and on top of Twilio, but If you've not heard of Twilio, it's a telephony technology that's just got a very clean API solution. You can tap in and create your own call distribution system, quite simple. There's also Plivio, which is another competitor to Twilio. So few companies out there that you can start developing in your own call distribution, or you can jump in and use a product that's already just ready to ship. Keyword tracking, not really. My marketing person threw that up there. I'm not really sure the names of some keyword tracking solutions, but just jump on YouTube and search that, and I'm sure you'll find quite a few good ones. In pay-per-call software, like for example, like what we use where we built it on Twilio. The one big one at the end is I actually just started using this company, Tableau. If you're looking at getting more of a quick and easy visualization of your data, this is a great company to work with. If you're running your ads through, they'll tie in through analytics. You basically can pull in all your data from every different source in real time and pull and run all these amazing visual data charts, heat maps, things along those lines. If I couldn't say enough about them, those would be the guys to take a look at if you're really trying to analyze your information. So what are we seeing right now that affiliates are saying and thinking? It's tough to get into calls because there's a lot of different platforms out there, and most of the time you want to run off of one platform. What I see is what's really happening right now is that we're moving this direction to an API-based solution, but as this industry kind of progresses over maybe the next 12 months, what I think you'll see is that solutions like Cake that are a great platform for you to run most of your affiliate networking efforts. Companies like ourselves will be tied in through their APIs, and you'll be able to run your calls, your leads, and your clicks, everything through one platform. So I think that's really kind of the struggles right now from the affiliate side that are already running leads or clicks, or an e-commerce site is that they're running it off of one platform. You don't want to run off of two different networks with two different platforms. So I see the industry is kind of seeing that and saying, okay, well, we'll tie into some of the main ones if it's something like Cake, for example. One of the things that I think is really cool, and I could talk literally all day about this, is in-browser phone calls. If anybody here heard of WebRTC? WebRTC? Cool. We can definitely talk later if you guys want to. We mess around and do we've done a lot of research in this, and we've created quite a few apps. What we're finding is that when I went back actually, yeah, right here, Google. So Google's funny. So Google has a click-to-call program, but it's actually a click-to-click-to-call. So you got to click that to get the response to say, do you want to make a phone call? Then you got to click, yes, I want to make a phone call. So it's not really a click-to-call. So what ends up happening here is that you leave the browser, and the consumer leaves the browser, and then all of a sudden you're unable to really track what happens next. And there's solutions that allow you to get like a 90% accuracy rate. They basically use these ring pools so that you can, it'll rotate the phone numbers around. So if somebody does click off the website and they call in, and this is getting a little bit more advanced, but they're about 90% accurate on figuring out, okay, where did that caller come from? But because a lot of the calls are coming from here, that's about the best solution out there. But if they do pass through the browser, which we're trying different things on getting more consumers to pass through the browser, we've created some in-browser phone calls so that while they're in the browser, they're actually making a phone call with no plugins, no software included. And it's utilizing this new technology called WebRTC. We don't have the internet up right now, but if you want to jot this down, directinsurance.agency, so not a .com, but a .agency, is one of our test sites. It works on everything except for iOS. So if you got an iPhone, sorry, it's going to default you to your regular phone. And I know a lot of people have it. iOS is supposed to adopt this new technology. They were supposed to adopt it by now, but it'll probably be sometime next year. And when it does, it should make a very big impact on the pay-per-call space. But if you do have an Android or a desktop, in Mac works as well. Chrome, Firefox, you go there, you click on the banner, and you'll go right into a phone call without the need to install a plugin or download any software. So really cool stuff. Makes it a whole new world of options because with the phone, you're restricted to a dial pad that has 9 or 10 digits and a star and a pound, and it's very outdated. When you have the browser making the phone call, you can make visual cues, you can make audio cues to ask the questions, you can have a person in there with a video asking all the questions. I mean, there's a ton of new stuff that you can do. We've got a basic program that we're running with. It's just a dial pad, but it'll give you an idea of where I think this industry is going to go. And the great part about it is it literally costs nothing to make a phone call. Right now, I run about 3 cents a minute in our network, running on top of Twilio, 3 to 4 cents, something like that. With this technology, it kind of brings it down to less than a quarter of a penny with everything involved. So definitely the way of the future. The telephony cost isn't a huge part of a network, just like a little side note there. But as time goes on, it's nice to have those, reduce the cost of running a network so that there's more money that get passed down to the affiliates running the offers. Just one of the other, we got the in-browser, and then those in-browser phone calls too are in HD audio, and they also have the option to do video. So if you're thinking in my world, what I think in my head in all these use cases is tech support. So right now for tech support, you got to call in, and I know tech support seems like a hot button right now as I've been walking the floors. Tech support with this technology give you a scenario. You would call in, and the receiving end would be a tech support side of it. They would answer the call in browser, zero costs for telephony at this stage. And at that time, the person could say, hey, I need help on my desktop. And instead of asking them to go to join.me or any of these other sites to share their screen, they could just say, hold on, let me share your screen with you real quick. Click. No downloads. Don't have to tell this person who's probably tech illiterate, how to get to join.me and load it up. If you're in tech support, that seems to me like one of the hardest points. So this would really help out there, and it would just be all seamless. So you can also run payments through this. There's all kinds of features out there that we've been testing around. So the in-browser part of it is definitely one of the things I think is really cool, and you can throw it into anything. You can throw it into search, into social, into email, into display. It runs on some simple JavaScript on ours. We've set it up and tried out different ways. For example, inside of our destination URL, we can put a hashtag start call. So instead of making the click to call button, we make a link that goes to our website. And if this all makes sense without me visually showing it to you, but visually in the air here, you click the link and it automatically goes right into a phone call. So it's an actual click to call. We've tried out different ways to see what works, and we're just trying out new stuff. And we're kind of like right in the middle of really kind of finding the sweet spot for this. But ultimately, I think it has to do something with just creating a similar user experience that people are used to today. So we keep the dial pad there, and we make it look and feel like a phone, like on an Android, or in iOS, we'll make it look like an iOS phone and keep that all standard. But there's so many more options that you can do with it as time goes on that'll really lead the direction of pay-per-call, because it just creates a seamless connection. And one other thing that's really kind of just a minor piece to it, but you might find a use case, if just a tidbit, is it's also a peer-to-peer connection. There's no servers in between, so there's no monitoring. There's no, for your clients that may be buyers that are large corporations, there's no media server in the middle that's storing this data. So you really can't do much with, the security side of it is very minimal. The security side of it's very strong because there's very minimal data being stored. So really cool stuff. I would definitely encourage you guys to continue to look at the in-browser side. But like I said, I'd hope you walk away with 2 or 3 things. And I think really if the big thing, like I said, walk away with, if you don't currently have a phone number on your website, find a network that'll give you a phone number to throw it on your website and test it out. See if you can get some more leads, clicks, as well as get some phone numbers on it. Those networks, hit Offer Vault, take a look around there. It's definitely the easiest place I think out there to find networks that are doing pay-per-call. Most are on that. And then if you have any questions around, trying doing some of this yourself, like with the Twilio, their APIs, I'm more than open to talk to a lot of people about this. I generally talk most of the time about the technology. It's kind of my strong suit. So feel free to, maybe the third thing is that you all find me on LinkedIn and add me. I'm also a LinkedIn junkie. So, if you feel like you want to connect later on, please do so, and I will kind of direct you in any way that I possibly can to help you start using more pay-per-call. So, with that, kind of a brief overview, kind of a few things to take away from it, an in-browser technology, WebRTC. Is there any questions that you guys are thinking about right now about pay-per-call?
I'm having a very hard time getting adoption within an agency environment for pay-per-call at all. So can you give me some
Sure.
tips on making it?
So tips for an agency to start getting adoption from networks and affiliates. What's the product? I could do a little.
I mean within the agency environment at all.
Okay.
So there's a desire to get more involved in the affiliate market,
Hmm.
but to do that without getting into pay-per-call.
Getting into the affiliate. Say it one more time.
There's a desire to get into partnering with affiliates,
Uh huh.
but not to utilize pay-per-call anywhere in the agency.
So you're in the agency or you're the affiliate?
I'm in the agency.
Okay, and you want to adopt pay per call.
I do,
You do, but the others don't.
but other people don't.
Is there a
The hesitancy seems to be wrapped around the fact that, or at least the perception that they would be charged per minute.
oh? So I mean, there's
I'm trying to overcome objection.
yeah,
It's not,
I could see that.
that's my concern.
You know, probably depending on how deep you want to jump in. Like I said, the off the shelf to get something started with the barrier to entry. Price point. I mean, realistically, it's a minimal component, and a lot of the times you'll find that the affiliates will actually run their own systems, and you may not actually even have a fee. They may offer you just may here's a forwarding phone number, and then they run it off of their own platform. That would probably be the way I would go there. Is there any other objections inside of it besides the pricing? Just kind of how to get it started?
For me, it's just a huge stumbling block, but like I said, I think it's more a perception with pricing problems than it is an actual experience with pricing problems.
Yeah, it might just be one of those things where you just like throw a phone number up there and then just be like, oh, I don't know how they got up there, and see how it goes for a week. You know, we're in the world of doing a lot of test runs in this, so I think that I would definitely open it up as why don't we try this out, give it 2 weeks, and most networks, you're working with affiliate networks or affiliates, probably use their own technology to, they'll cover or split the cost. Sometimes they'll do it that way too. Yep. Any other questions around like pay-per-call that's?
The browser calls can be made from, the user can be in any country?
Correct. Yeah, it's very powerful. Yeah, so they just can't be on iPhones right now. There is actually a way around it, but then they have to download some stuff. But then just the straight play of in-browser phone calls with no downloads or plugins, it's just Android and Google. But if you do look at the world scope, there's more Androids out there that are running Chrome than there are iPhones. But there's still a very large amount of iPhone users in the U.S. So.
And you can track major details because it's in the browser.
Correct. That's the big.
So then you could have phone number.
Yeah, it's with the phone number you're unfortunately about 90% of the time accurate, maybe a little bit better of where it came from, and then you can use that information and extrapolate it back. But yeah, it's a lot easier with this because we just can pull that right off of we can say what keyword was used, what was the placement, how long were they on the site for, and we can do a whole bunch of other things and redirect them back to remarketing because we'll keep them all inside of the browser. So user experience is great within browser. It's just a matter of testing out the right mix or the right sweet spot to keep the consumer active and using the site.
Could you put the same script inside like a banner ad?
You could. Yeah, that was another use case that we were looking at is actually just making it a click to call right off the banner, and then when they hang up, then they redirect them to our site for a follow up click or lead form. So closed loop. Yep. Oh.
What's your take on Facebook ads with the call now button as a source of paper call?
It's a good question. Actually, I think that there's a session right after this one. We were talking with somebody, and I think they're talking more about that. I'm not very versed inside of Facebook advertising, so I've heard a lot of good things. I wish I could answer more on that one, but I'm interested. I'll probably go over to the Facebook one after this. You had a question? Oh, the Facebook. Oh, you guys were reading each other's minds.
Sorry, one more question.
Sure.
Could you embed the code in a video? Like, could you put in?
Are you able to? If you're able to put a JavaScript line of JavaScript code? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to. What would end up happening? The link would have to reload the browser page up that had the script on it, and so yeah, you just put a. Then you would because you could just the way that we designed it is that the JavaScript code falls inside of the landing page, and then we just run a little call script like #startcall. So you would just put inside of your video a URL redirect with the #startcall and any of the parameters you wanted to pass through, and you could just pick it up on the landing page. Yeah.
What was the URL one more time?
It is directinsurance.agency. That's our test one right now. So if it breaks at all while you guys are doing it, shoot me a message. But should be working pretty good right now. Any other questions in browser, pay per call in general? Maybe just for the sake of it, could everybody raise their hand who's running pay per call campaigns right now? Okay, me too. Okay, so a pretty good group. You know, I'd like to kind of go back to is that. Oh, you're buying? And how's your experience with the buying?
It's in beta testing.
Yeah.
They're always looking for new people to sell to us in our space.
Which space?
Legal.
Legal? Okay, yeah, that's actually that's a really great new space that I know it's tricky. Distribution, what we find, is also a big component. So like what we've done with our technology, and this is where you start getting into the Twilio and wanting to look for a customized solution. And this works in what we're planning on doing with attorneys, so you may be able to give me some feedback on this.
We're also doing it in Spanish too.
Oh, in Spanish as well?
Totally separate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it would be great. And what we've done inside of our solution is, and some other companies have also done this as well, is we've created a monetization funnel that allows us to do retail, wholesale, and then have a drain built at the bottom. So basically the way that looks is, you know, retail is going to pay us about 20 to 30% more. So like the individual attorney would pay a little bit more than the big law firm who's going to buy, you know, maybe 50 calls a day or 30 calls a day, where an attorney may buy 2 or 3 because of their capacity. So they'll pay a little bit more, so we'll give them the first shot at it in our distribution. So we have a tiering system. So call comes in, makes it through our verification process, and then it looks for location, it looks for preferences, language preferences, location preferences, and then goes ahead and distributes it out correctly. And it looks like we're out of time for today. So feel free to come up afterwards if you have any questions or anything to talk about. It would be great. Thank you for joining.